You got a tough position. Like, how's your body holding up?
Body's holding up good. It's nowadays in sports you have so many resources and trainers and everything you need to stay healthy. And the Cardinals do a great job keeping everybody in shape, ready to play. And, body feels good. And, obviously you get a little energy here at the end of the season, especially when you clinch the playoffs. So Everybody's feeling good.
Even your head, you took one off the dome again. It was his hand, wasn't it? Oh, you got one off the wrist, too. It's tough back there sometimes, man.
Yeah, I got one off the wrist. I got bumps and bruises everywhere. That's everybody, though. So it's, like I said, you just play through the pain. That's a part of being a professional athlete.
Let him know about it,
Damn right.
He needs to know more about
I'm
that,
wimpy
too.
now.
Yeah, Cam here, he fought in the NHL for 10 years, which was, look, I mean, that's hardcore. But I'm trying to tell him, the catching position, it's a different type of daily beating with the foul tips and
knees
and fingers. And then every time you get a ball off the face mask, like getting punched in the face, it can't be, no,
it's fun.
He's got a great job. I mean, he's one of the best in the business, but still, there are days where you're hurting, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there's definitely days where you're hurting, and it's pretty much every single day you're getting some sort of bump or bruise, whether it's off the face, foul tip off the inner thigh, spike curveball off the wrist bone. You're getting something, but I think tough guys catch, or catching turns you a little bit tougher. It's one of the two. So either way, you got to toughen up.
So what was it for you? Were you already tough, or did it make you tough?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I played football growing up all the way through high school, so I think I had a little toughness in me. So I think I was tough enough to start catching, but catching has definitely made me tougher.
Okay, so you brought this up. I had a different question to ask, but now I'm interested in this. This is stereotyping. But I'm looking at you now. Obviously, catcher, you have a great arm. You're in the big league, so you could be a quarterback in high school football. I'm looking at you. I'm thinking though, like middle linebacker. What were you?
I was not a defensive player.
Okay.
I just never learned how to tackle. That wasn't for me. I played quarterback, a little bit of wide receiver, and I punted.
Nice.
High school football. Yep.
Yeah, dang.
Very cool. Okay, so we were talking about this earlier. We're excited for the series, obviously, and who you're going to play, but also the game times where you have some of these early games. Baseball wants to have games from noon probably till midnight. And so if you guys get one of these earlier games, whether it's, let's say, 12 or 3 o'clock, are the shadows still an issue? This was a big deal. Like I remember 10, 15 years ago, there was a lot of Saturday 3 o'clock games, and the shadows were a real issue. Is that still something that can throw a wrench into things at Busch if you get one of those early starts?
Yeah, absolutely. Those 3 o'clock starts, even now a 1 o'clock start, by the end of the game, you're going to have some bad shadows like we had the last home game. I mean, those shadows are tough, and it definitely affects the game, in my opinion, because as a hitter, it's hard to see. As a catcher, it's hard to see. So you're battling to, catch guys and hit against guys throwing 100 miles an hour with nasty breaking balls. And it's kind of like you see the ball halfway to the plate and then close your eyes and then just guess where it's going.
Ooh.
So it's definitely a factor. It's definitely a factor. So I'm hoping we get some night games and not too many shadow games. So we'll see.
So, kids, we were joking, saying that obviously, you're playing this series here up in Pittsburgh. It's one that got pushed back from the beginning of the year because, in a lot of situations, you'd already be gearing up for the postseason. How is it knowing you've got this coming up at the end of the week, but still staying locked into what you got going on every night, respecting the team that's in front of you, and one that right now is, kind of looking at it and saying, we're going to take the fight to these guys no matter what they got coming up?
No, absolutely. The Pirates have played us tough all year. They got some hungry young guys that want to go out and play the game hard. So, they're definitely ready to give it to us really all year long. They've been playing good baseball, but it's kind of different this year having a few games that quote unquote don't really mean anything. I don't want that to come off the wrong way, but usually we're clinching. It's like the last game of the year we clinch, at least the last couple years. So It's kind of nice to have a little bit of time where you clinch, and then you can give guys a break. Goldschmidt, Arenado, guys like that have played every single day. So it's kind of nice to give those guys a break to kind of recharge and get ready for the postseason. So definitely a different feeling, at least for me in my experience of clinching a week or so before the end of the season. So it's just part of the game.
Kiz, a lot of talk in sports radio is who's going to, start the games in the first 3 postseason games. And you have caught Quintana quite a bit here since his resurgence. I mean, he's just been remarkable. And I know the answer probably is, well, we have confidence in anybody who takes the ball at the start of the game. But in a best of 3, you want your best horses going, and Quintana's been phenomenal.
Yeah, you're right about that. It could be any one of our 5 starters, and we got guys, Dakota Hudson in the bullpen, we got Steven Matz in the bullpen, we got a bunch of starting pitching. But like you said, we really have confidence in everybody. But yeah, Quintana's been throwing unbelievable. I mean, he looks so good. He's getting better each outing, and well, I'm just glad we picked him up at the trade deadline because he's been a real spark for us here in the second half, and he gives you a chance to win every single time he goes out. He's a competitor. He's going to throw strikes. He's going to attack hitters, and that's the type of mentality you want on the mound in a playoff game.
So, Kiz, obviously these 2 or 3 games in the first round, the wild card round at home, you guys are so good at home at Busch Stadium. How much of an edge do you think that gives you guys at Busch Stadium? I'm trying to find the record here. I looked it up the other day. It's crazy. At home, 53-28 this season. Why do you think you guys are? I mean, that's an incredible record at home. Is it the old best fans in baseball? Is it baseball heaven? Is it the vibe? Why are you guys so good at Busch?
I think it's definitely that. I think the fans, playing in front of your own fans is always a good thing, especially in the postseason. But I think playing at Busch Stadium is just a different style of play because it's a bigger ballpark. It's harder to hit home runs, so you really have to understand how to manufacture runs. And I think we've done a really good job this year of not relying on the home run to win games. And I think in the postseason, a lot of the teams that maybe will play rely on home runs to win games. So that kind of neutralizes that threat. So looking ahead, I kind of like our matchup when we're playing at home against teams that like to hit home runs or extra base hits. So, our pitchers know how to pitch at home and our hitters know how to hit at home. And I think it gives us a little bit of an edge.
And Kiz, speaking of Busch, Sunday was awesome. The pregame ceremony. I know the game didn't go the way you guys wanted to, but Albert hits the home run, and Waino and Yadi and Albert walk off together. What did you think of the whole day, from the ceremony to Albert and Yadi and Waino's exit, and just honoring, 2 or 3 of just the all-time great Cardinals?
Yeah, I mean, that was amazing. The ceremony I thought was unbelievable. I was tearing up multiple times during those speeches. I thought it was outstanding. And just to let you know, those 3 guys still have more games at Busch Stadium.
That's right.
Still have a few more. We got a playoff run. So, what would be nice is that confetti at Busch Stadium to be falling down in late October, early November, and those guys going out with some confetti, flying around. That'd be the ultimate dream.
Hey, Kiz, I think Mo made a good point in some of his remarks about Yadi, where he said just what it means for him to bring what he brings to the team every day, whether it's spring training, whether it's through the season or where we're at now. Looking forward into next season, how different for you preparing for the season, getting with the pitchers and everything you've got to do, will it be without having Yadi around?
My preparation won't change a whole lot, to be honest with you, because when I go into the off season, I prepare like I'm going to catch 162 games. Mm-hmm. That's my preparation always. Coming into spring training, my preparation always is hey, the mentality is, hey, you got to be ready to play every single game. So obviously with Yadi being gone, who knows what the situation is going to be. It's going to be the starting spot will be kind of up for grabs. So, there's definitely going to be some competition for it. By no means I'm expecting to just be handed the reins. It's professional baseball, and you got to go out there and earn your job every single day. And I think that's the mentality that I'll take is I need to earn this job every single day because that's what number 4 did for 19 seasons.
Okay, we've been talking about this a lot also through all of Albert's home runs. Let's say Andrew Knizner is not a professional baseball player. Let's just say you have a normal job. All right, let's say you catch Albert's home run ball number 700, and you could trade it for a couple jerseys and some tickets. Like you have a family. You're not super rich.
Blue collar. You're blue collar.
You're a blue collar guy, okay?
Yep.
But
Like
then
Nate.
you could take this ball to auction and maybe get $1 million. What do you do?
Oh man, this is a tough question.
It's not a tough question.
No, it's not. Not at all.
I think what I would say to myself to do is to sell it. But honestly, what I would do is I think I would give it back to Albert. I really do. If he said keep it, then I would keep it. But I don't really think deep down that I would try to go and sell it. I would either keep the piece of history or try to give it back to.
I bet
Albert.
you would. I bet you would.
But also that's me speaking right now.
Yeah.
Professional, but it's hard to see.
Yeah, all right, kids, man. We'll be watching. Do your thing, and
good luck this
good
weekend,
luck this
man.
weekend.
Go get 'em.
Dude. Just go do your thing, man. We'll be watching, and good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Andrew Knizner,
Thank
right
you,
there,
sir.
baby. Hey, somebody wanted me to ask him about
PitchCom.
PitchCom.
We've asked him about that like 10
every
times.
Yeah.
Here's the deal.
And they asked about the ball 4 last night with the walk off. Did you hear the ump say anything, Brian? Yeah. I don't want to confuse the guy.
I don't think the ump knew that it was ball 4.
Oh, really?
I don't know if anybody was watching, but it was a very bizarre end to the game. I legit, the home plate umpire last night was Jerry Meals, and it was a very nonchalant, that is the end of the game. It's the bottom of the 9th, and JoJo Romero walked the bases loaded. Which...
Wait, did JoJo walk him in himself? I was a little confused. Did Gallegos play in that, or did JoJo finish it, or what happened there?
Gallegos played a role. Yeah, Gallegos had 3 walks.
Well, he celebrated his new 2-year, $11 million extension big time before the game.
Look, I think the biggest issue with the Cards right now is that if you're playing in a really tight game and you got to get a crucial 6 to 9 outs somewhere in a 1-run ball game, that's going to be...
It's a bridge.
A tough one.
It's a bridge. I mean, you got to get the game to Helsley. And that's why I was asking the question last week when he was in Milwaukee. I was like, a 2-inning outing, that's interesting. Are you looking at doing a little bit more of a throwback closer role with him this year? How often can you do that? But, yeah, you got to be able to trust to get the game to him because you're not going to bring him in the 7th inning like Raleigh Fingers or something. Like, you got to be able to still get the game delivered if you need to.
Did you see that? He just showed that at the end of the game. They had no idea that was the ball.
No idea.
It was just like, they're like, what? Oh, okay, it's over.
And it was a 4-pitch walk. I mean.
Okay, Kiz is a liar. Bader was a dud, but at least he didn't lie to us. Colby Rasmus.
Wait, that might be the actual Colby Rasmus saying that, too.
I know.
Okay, so a couple things. Helsley, I think they will try to use Helsley the way they have in these big series. If you had a Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend series against a good team, and Helsley was rested, you would see Ollie try to throw Helsley 2 innings on the Friday, rest him Saturday, and be able to bring him back for 1 inning on Sunday. I think that's what they'll try to do. It would not surprise me if they have a lead, if they go to Helsley for 2 innings in Game 1, knowing you're not going to be able to use him in Game 2, but you can bring him back for Game 3. Here's another interesting part of this. I was looking up kind of some different stats here and there, and I think Flaherty makes more sense to come out of the bullpen in Game 1 or 2 if there's trouble, okay, than Jordan Montgomery. If you kind of look up Jordan Montgomery over his career. Also, this was a storyline with the Yankees that he likes to start. He likes to be a guy who has the routine to start. And sometimes there are just little things about warming up and coming in with runners on.
Yeah.
I do feel like Jack Flaherty has done that a little more. And so maybe that makes more sense that you go Miles game 1, Quintana game 2. You're slotting Montgomery for game 3. And by the way, anything is up in the air if you lose game 1. Like, anything can go. But I'm saying maybe it makes more sense to have Montgomery as the starter for game 3 and bring Flaherty. Let's say that in game 1, there's some runs scored. Let's say it's 4-3. Let's say it's 4-3 Phillies or Cardinals in the fourth inning, and Miles Michaelis gets pulled after 3 1/3. All right? And you have a lot of innings to cover. Isn't that probably a good spot for Jack Flaherty to come in and give you length?
Yeah.
It's still a game you can win.
I mean, that could end up being the way, though, because, I think it is a good point that you will have some matchups, I think, especially against a team like Philadelphia where you've got a lot of lefties in a row, potentially. But, yeah, I think that if you don't have the world's strongest bullpen, you don't have like an elite bridge guy, like, say, how Andrew Miller was during the Indians. They were the Indians then, I can say it. During the Indians run back a few years ago where you just used him in every possible angle, maybe you do have to turn your embarrassment of riches, if you will, of starters into one of those guys.
And you got Matz in that spot. Matz can go 2 innings and be a lefty matchup guy.
And the good thing about it is now, I can't believe I'm saying this. The good thing about it is now is that you don't have to protect it as much in a lineup. You don't have a pitcher that's going to come up to hit and work through it. You can kind of just purely go after it on the mound. I've become a DH guy. I can't believe that
always was.
This is who I am now.
Isn't it funny how for years on the radio, all the best fans in baseball, who I love, all of you, by the way, and you grew up with Whitey Ball, and I get it, and everybody hated the DH. And now everybody's celebrating Albert as basically a DH, providing the greatest moments of 2022. It's just
I
interesting.
didn't complain about that. Who did, Jimmy?
I did.
A lot of old school. No, I get it.
I did.
I get it.
Wholeheartedly.
We never did.
That's because you and I
know.
Come on now,
What
buddy.
about Nate? Nate, you like the DH?
He's a DH guy, I
Remember?
bet.
No, I don't.
Remember, I shocked Charlie because he thought I'd be old man, get off my lawn,
Right.
can't change the rules. And I said that I've been, I've worked in minor league baseball where I've had the designated hitter for 5 years.
Maddie, did you hear his clip? Did you ever hear Nate's clip?
I've heard several Nate clips. Which one are we, what are we talking about here?
when he used to call baseball games.
No, you've told me about this. You've almost made it sound like the Kirk Gibson walk-off at this point.
It was really. Can you play it, Nate? We got some. No, come on. We got time to kill
We got
here.
a lot to talk about today.
Oh,
we don't
yeah?
need to. Yeah, we don't need to revisit me.
Nate, come
We
on.
don't need to pump my tires.
Well,
Nate,
just do
can
it.
you reenact Albert's 700th home run for me? Can we play it? Put him on top of it?
So
I'm sure he is. He's here for a reason.
We're not
I've
making fun of
actually
him.
been thinking as if people have asked Danny Mac to recreate 700.
That's so impossible to do.
It's impossible.
It's not going to sound right.
Do it.
It
You
really
can't do it.
is.
I want you to do it though.
It's like when you do when you try to do an impersonation, on cue or something. It's just not, or tell a joke.
Or when Charlie asks guests, "Tell me your favorite story," and they're like,
About?
Do I do that?
yeah,
No.
yes."
No, what you're doing is you're conflating two things, which is
I
at
mess it up?
restaurants, when I ask the waiter or waitress, what's your
yeah.
most popular dish?
No, but you would go to a guest and you're like, you go, "Tell me your best story."
No, about a person. And usually you get a good answer.
Yeah.
If somebody has a famous friend, Holiday, we've asked him about Scott Boras, good answer.
Yeah.
Mike Gundy, I'm a man, I'm 40, they're buddies. Mike Gundy was at his house.
I just think that's a tough.
I disagree.
It's a tough. If I got asked that, I'm like, can you tell me your favorite story about this? I'm like,
Okay, but if you have Brett Hull on, if Brett Hull is best friends with Kid Rock,
yeah.
you're going to be like, dude, what's it like hanging out with Kid Rock? Give me a story, you and Kid Rock hanging out. That's going to be a good story.
I get. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
You
Charlie.
are.
Maybe I'm wrong
You
on
are.
that.